What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and I have some shocking information for you guys early this morning in regards to Call of Duty 2020. I'm aware that some of this information was posted late last night. There was some unfortunate miscommunication with when the information was supposed to go live, but the issue has been resolved going forward, and we'll talk about the Red Door deeper into this video. We have something a lot bigger than that to talk about first, but also as a reminder, beanie hats are now available on my website for just $14.99, along with my other t-shirt designs that go for $19.99. I have new Zombies merch coming to the site very soon. It will be available for free for the Premise members here on my channel. More information about memberships is down below when you hit the join button. But first and foremost, I heard this straight from a verified insider who's gotten so many things correct in the past. And how would you guys feel if there was no multiplayer beta this time around for Black Ops Cold War, but instead there was a campaign mission that served as a demo for the game? I shit you not, I was told that as of right now this is subject to change, but multiplayer is very behind schedule and there isn't a beta planned for it. It just won't be ready in time, and he also told me that there will be 7 to 9 6v6 maps at launch, with a few of them being remakes. Now, this is fairly shocking considering we did have a beta many years ago for World at War. We then never saw a beta again for a Call of Duty until Black Ops 3, and Black Ops 3's multiplayer beta was fairly successful. It just created so much hype around the community, and ever since then we've seen a multiplayer beta just about every single summer. Now, Infinite Warfare was a bit behind schedule to the point where the beta was all the way in, I think, October. It might have been maybe end of September, I can't remember exactly, but it was definitely only like 3 weeks before the launch of the game, when usually we see multiplayer betas late into the summer, like at some point in August, for a release in either mid-October or November. So it seems like this time around they just won't have time to do that at all, to the point where we'll be seeing one campaign mission serving as a demo. So I'm curious how they're going to respond to that, right? How's Activision going to come out and say, well, we just didn't feel like doing multiplayer this year for a beta, so instead here's a campaign mission? It's kind of a red flag to show you where they are in development right now with the multiplayer, but at the same time, to play devil's advocate, as my good buddy Scorpiolo has even said, this may just hype up the element of surprise when we first boot up this Call of Duty for the first time. There'll be a multiplayer reveal trailer, of course, but it'll be such a different feeling being able to, first play the multiplayer when the game officially goes live in its entirety versus playing a good portion of the multiplayer a few months before the launch of the game and then, playing it right when it releases. It's gonna be different. And at the same time too, right, to play devil's advocate once again, it does suck because betas are important for the sake of bug fixes, weapon balancing, hearing the feedback from the community before the game does come out, so that when the game does come out, it comes out, even stronger than ever, right? Even better than the beta. So we'll have to wait and see how this is gonna affect the release of Black Ops Cold War, right? How will the multiplayer look when it finally releases? But on the bright side too, as we heard just a couple of days ago from the competitive player known as Chance, Treyarch has already reached out to competitive players in the community to talk about the philosophy of esports. They care about their multiplayer, they care about the competitive scene, so I can almost guarantee you that with the help of Sledgehammer and Raven, Treyarch is not going to let us down with the multiplayer. But seeing a campaign demo will be a lot different, and if it's successful, we may even see that going forward as a trend for the Call of Duty franchise, not seeing multiplayer betas anymore. In my opinion, Modern Warfare's beta was atrocious. I love the gunfight alpha, don't get me wrong, but the multiplayer beta was absolutely ridiculous. It just was unbelievably boring, and hopefully if we ever do see a multiplayer beta again, it's a lot more interesting than the Modern Warfare one. But going into stuff about the Red Door, so I'm not even sure how this was found, but apparently there are websites out there that keep track of all of the patches and upcoming games for PlayStation, and what do you know, Call of Duty 2020's alpha was on that site. Now what's interesting about that is that it's not an alpha that I believe will ever be live to the public, since it's about 70 or so gigabytes. It seems like an internal alpha just for the developers and QA testers to play around with, and it's been modified as of recently. It's definitely a very active patch that is getting consistent updates, specifically bug fixes. But when you look at the details of this alpha, that's when things get really damn interesting. So first off, it is 71 gigabytes for the PKG file, and according to data miners, this is much too large to be an indie game title, and especially too large for it to be a title that nobody's ever heard of, and the Red Door seems to be a front for Call of Duty 2020, a nice code word to keep the game hidden, which I think is great because Red obviously is referring to the Red Army from the Cold War. We're seeing a lot of Kremlin references with the Red Door here, and it also reminds us of the steps from Origins, right? Secure the keys. You know, hearing about the Red Door just seems so cryptic, and something that I was reached out to about by the wonderful MJPW Gaming was that the Red Door has the same font as the film posters for Dr. Sleep, which is of course a sequel to The Shining, so seeing a key and a maze on this Red Door picture is of course very reminiscent of the vibes we got from The Shining. So very creepy, very cryptic, and I'm loving, you know, these Black Ops 1 vibes with all these code words, all these fronts for the game itself. It just really gets me hyped up for whatever story they're going to be telling in this game. Once again, shout out to Johnny or MJPW Gaming for reaching out to me with this little detail. Now, with the Red Door 2, things get a lot juicier. So comparing the information we have for the Red Door to, let's say, the internal information for Modern Warfare, things do line up pretty easily. And looking at the Red Door itself, it seems like there's a lot of placeholder information in there, such as the online experience being limited to 8 players. We know that's not the case unless they're expecting us to be happy with 4v4s and multiplayer. That's not going to happen. And we also have some really juicy info here. So there are some acronyms that were featured in this project for Red Door. One of them being MP for multiplayer, ZM for zombies, so more confirmation that zombies is coming back in case you guys were worried, even though we've gone over that before, WZ for Warzone, and as we knew from before, Warzone will be implemented into Call of Duty 2020 somehow. We did hear from verified insiders that it'll be at the main menu of Black Ops Cold War, so definitely expect some Treyarch updates to Warzone in the future. CP for campaign. Once again, hopefully campaign doesn't get scrapped at the last minute. I highly doubt that because we're so close to release now. And last but not least, WZZM, a Warzone Zombies mode. Is that what this is referring to? Because what are the odds that WZ is Warzone, ZM is Zombies, and then we have one acronym that's WZZM. So combine Warzone and Zombies. Is this going to be the case? Will we not only see the Transit remake of Vietnam Zombies experience, and on top of that, we'll see zombies in Warzone? That's mind-blowing. That's something that's worth almost a whole video in and of itself. I really don't know what that could be referring to, because Warzone zombies, I'm trying to picture how that would even work, right? Seeing zombies on the entirety of the Warzone map sounds fairly interesting. You know, it would be something, it's almost on a Destiny level where there would be so much to do. I mean, I can't even imagine, you know, going to different areas of the Warzone map and seeing different things with the zombies. I think that would revolutionize the mode in ways that I just talked about in yesterday's video, right? It's funny because I went out yesterday for a couple of hours, and of course, what happens when I go out for a couple of hours? Something big gets found. I wasn't even home to cover it as an emergency, unfortunately, but when the stuff did get found, I'm like, wow, what are the odds that I just went over zombies a little bit in my recent video, then all of a sudden we have some new zombies information. I mean, we went over some crazy details yesterday in regards to the possibility of seeing, you know, a campaign for zombies, so maybe that's what this is, you know, seeing some big zombie storyline being told on the big-ass Warzone map. That's definitely a possibility. We also went over how the motion capture actress who played Oracle in Ancient Evil has apparently been doing some work lately for Call of Duty 2020. She took a picture in front of the Shadows of Evil poster. So something big with zombies is going to be happening, and I think this would be a huge step forward. Like I said, not only seeing the typical, you know, 2-3 maps at launch, but then seeing something on the level of Nightmares, but done so much better. That's exactly how you revive the zombies community in ways that just haven't been done before. I'm just curious how such a big social space can handle zombies, right? How that would even work, whether it's survival in certain areas or certain quests in certain areas. I think seeing that alone is already miles better than just about anything else I could think of. But, you know, how cool would it be if you have to do something in Warzone Zombies, and then whenever you do a certain task or a certain quest, you unlock one of the 3 maps that'll be available at launch? Or what if it's the other way around, right? You beat all of the Easter eggs on maybe the 2 or 3 launch maps we get, and then we unlock this massive mode, Warzone Zombies. You know, how sick would that be? You know, if there's progression of some sort, you beat something and you unlock something really really big as a map or as a mode. I just can't wait to see what they end up doing with that. But leave all your thoughts on this down below in the comment section. This has been dkdynamite. The red door is the key word for the internal alpha of Black Ops Cold War, and I cannot wait to see what they end up doing with this game. Once again, this Thursday is the PlayStation 5 gameplay reveal. Finally, I'll be live streaming all of it here on my channel, and we're really hoping and crossing our fingers for a title reveal or even a gameplay reveal of some sort for Treyarch's next game. But because of Season 4 coming out for Modern Warfare very soon, I'm not sure how they're going to balance both announcements. You know, I'm not sure how the marketing itself will be balanced for both games. Now, one last thing I wanted to go into was in regards to the campaign. I do hope it is co-op in some way, whether it's 2-player or 4-player. I just think the community has evolved in so many ways to the point where co-op is the way to go for every new mode. I mean, single-player campaigns are great and all. You know, you can go on, go for your platinum, play your missions on veteran, and probably never touch the campaign again. But when a campaign has co-op, it opens the door for replayability in so many ways, where you can help your friends go through some of the missions on harder difficulties. You can go back and, you know, party up for a stream and just beat it all in one take, right? There are so many opportunities for co-op that I think proves how the Call of Duty community has evolved to where single-player experiences just don't have much replayability going forward. And with the Modern Warfare campaign, for example, from 2019, I think if it was co-op, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. But it's like everything you do in COD now has to do with co-op, so to then have to go to a single-player campaign and kind of isolate yourself away from your friends, it's like, yeah guys, talk to you guys in a bit, I'm gonna go play the campaign for a little while. Even if you're streaming it, it's still like, it just could use some co-op, and hopefully we do see that going forward, because Treyarch proved it with Black Ops 4. They can go all out with cooperative experiences, not even do a single-player campaign, and they could make that work. But, you know, if we do see a co-op campaign in the future, hopefully it's the same approach as Black Ops 3, where, you know, you can do it on any difficulty, you can, you know, do all your challenges with your friends, you can just do so much in that co-op experience, in that co-op world. We've only seen a co-op campaign with World at War and Black Ops 3, so hopefully Treyarch does do it at least one more time. I would love to see a co-op campaign and a very likable campaign, I should say, right? A very likable story to where it's enjoyable for all parties. But also, big shout out to Modern Warzone, the Modern Warfare 2 Ghost, and Buggy, along with the Gaming Revolution. There was some miscommunication late last night, unfortunately, with when the information about the Red Door was supposed to go live, but I still wanted to talk about it in a video this morning. We'll be collaborating more often and putting out information at the same time whenever it is found, but really hope you enjoy. This has been dkdynamite, and peace out, everyone.